welcome back to Homestead Corner. Today I have got a few items that I think are super important to stock up on before panic buying begins. I ran out to the grocery store and I was just picking up some milk and bread, you know, those fresh things that you want to have at the house. And you know, there was a lady was next to me, and the stores don't look any different than they did the last couple of times I went there. There's very little pasta. There's holes all over the place. And I happened to be walking by the pasta this morning, and I was kind of surprised at this lady was shopping, and she's standing there looking at the pasta, and she's like, oh goodness, here we go again. I'm thinking to myself, again? It's not been good. Things have been rough here for a while. I mean, there is stuff in the store, but it is definitely not always what you're looking for, and you get what there is and what you can get. So I was thinking on my ride home after that, I just thought, you know, people are just starting to see stuff. You know, the whole shelf could be flipping empty, and they don't understand what is going on with these shortages, and they're just starting to notice it. So I was thinking on the way home, you know, there are definitely, as this progresses, and I do think this is going to get much, much worse, I think that it's important that we keep our pantries as full as humanly possible. And as this progresses, I think there's going to be a bunch of people that all of a sudden are like, oh my God, I better go get some stuff. People are going to continue to wake up to this as it gets worse. So I think panic buying will happen again. And I think that, you know, if we are smart, we will stay on top of this stuff and be ahead of the game. And when panic buying happens, it won't affect us as bad. So one of the things are dry goods. I think dry goods are a really big deal to have in your pantry, because you can make so many different things with them. I'm talking oats, rice, pasta, flour, all those grains and things like that. Those are must-haves in the pantry, and making sure you're fully stocked on those as much as you can be. Flour doesn't tend to last as long as some of the other stuff, but if you have wheat berries are wonderful, and they will last for decades. So you can grind flour, which is wonderful. You can eat the wheat berries, just cook them up the way they are. You don't have to grind them. You can still make stuff with them as berries. And the next thing I think that is really important is seeds. Having plenty of seeds on hand, because if we can't get it at the grocery store, and you've all seen the produce lately, what is there? Isn't that great? I've had a hard time finding stuff, and when I do find it, I don't always buy it, because sometimes it looks like it got ran over and they tossed it on the shelf and here you go, this is what it is. I don't want to eat that. So I think seeds are really important, and grow the things that you love to eat. All those vegetables, if you can grow any berries or anything like that, like they have baskets for strawberries, you can hang them on the porch and they will grow. I have used them before. I think they used to call them like topsy-turvy or something. It's like an upside down bucket. But they have all these different things, and I know they have more stuff now. We have our berries in the ground, and we've been growing them for years, but if you don't have them already started, I think like strawberries are pretty quick. You know, they don't take years to produce, maybe 2 years, maybe not the first year, but the next year they do. Strawberries are pretty quick. You know, blueberries take longer for the bushes to grow to get an amount off them and things like that. But I think those are important. If you have space to put fruit trees and berries in, definitely I would do that. Get those seeds stocked up, and when you harvest some seeds so you can regrow them and grow more of it. And saving seeds is really pretty simple. There's, a couple different ways to do it depending on the seeds, but seeds are definitely going to be a must. If you can't get it at the grocery store, hopefully you can grow some. The next thing I think is important to keep really stocked up on is meats and vegetables. Again, the vegetables, you can grow them in containers, in the ground, whatever you have access to. You can grow greens in the house. You can sprout things in the house. Canned meats, if you can get fresh at a good deal, can it yourself if you can. We do that a lot. I don't grow a lot of meat. We do have meat chickens. We have done, but we don't grow beef or anything like that normally because I just don't have the equipment for that stuff. So if I had to grow sheep, goats for that purpose, I could. I have had those before, but they were not for meat. There are, obviously many different ways to go about it. But if you buy the canned meat, if that's what you can do, or get meat and can it yourself, dry it, make jerky, whatever. Jerky lasts about a year. Most jerkies will last on the shelf. So that is definitely another way to go. Whatever you can do to get that meat stocked up. The next thing is water. Water is becoming a problem at the grocery stores. There are very low stock for what they have. Today they had 0 distilled water in our area. I did a video on that the other day. It is really easy to do yourself. It does take a little while to do it, but there's not much hands-on work to it. Just get it started and kind of peek at it once in a while and make sure it doesn't run out of water. It's not difficult to do in any way. And having water filtration, a place where you can go collect water, or a collection system at your house if you're able to do that. Some people are able to put up rain barrels and collect water, or know a stream, know different places where you can get water if we don't have access to it at the store. Water is a huge one because it takes up so much space and we use so much of it, and we have to have it. The next thing I think is important to stockpile is fuel. Fuels for heating, fuels for cooking, lighting, whatever it is. If you use oil lamps, you're going to want oil and extra wicks. If you use candles, you're going to want, lots of candles, maybe some extra fats, so you can make candles out of it and things like that, because you can make candles out of lard and coconut oil and any of those, kind of fats. Those solid fats work great for candles. And you can also use olive oil and other cooking oils to make little oil lamps. They're really easy to do. You can do that yourself. And those type of things, we really want to make sure we have plenty of those. If we are not able to get them at the store, it's something that we need to have extra of around the house. And matches, lighters, all those kind of things. If your source is propane for cooking, then you're going to want to have plenty of that on hand. If electricity gets so expensive that you can't afford it, with all this inflation going on, we have to keep that in the back of our mind. Electricity could be something that goes out of reach for a lot of us, and we need to be prepared for if that happens. How else can we get these things done? Heating our home, cooking, all that stuff. And the next thing I think is important, and I think it will go pretty quick once people realize what is going on, and that there really are shortages and there really is a problem here. And inflation, definitely. Preserving items, you can like dehydrate stuff, or canners, jars, lids, things like that. Even not an electric dehydrator because you may not have electricity, but even one of those ones that hang. I have one that hangs, and it's just like a netted thing with a bunch of shelves in it, so you can just hang stuff and dry it that way. A solar one that you could put out in your yard to dry, you know, make sun-dried tomatoes or jerky or whatever out there. You could do that. You could smoke things as well, but having the ability to preserve things, I think those preserving items are going to disappear pretty quickly once people really start seeing what's going on. And one more thing I think is another to definitely stock up on. I think it will be something that you're going to want to have if you use these items, like specialty drinks, coffee, tea, creamers, sweeteners, anything like that to go in it. Flavoring for water. If all you have to drink is water, you're going to want something to flavor it with, definitely. And alcohol, things like that are going to be a big one. If you drink alcohol, then you're going to want to have some of it to get through, because you know, it's one of those things that is going to go quickly in panic buying situations. People need those vices and they're going to want them. And even if you don't use it, it might be something that you want to stock for trading or helping your neighbor out or something, because they may not be aware of what's going on. There are so many people out there. I hear from people all the time that my family member doesn't get it. You know, my friends don't get it. Everyone thinks I'm crazy. It really is that way. I have family members that don't get it. We all have that, I think, and unfortunately, we cannot force them to understand. We can't force them to see it, you know, and we can only do what we can do. If you can stock up a little bit extra to help them out, that's awesome. If you can't, well, you can't. You do what you can do. That's all anybody can do. And those are things that I think are going to go pretty quickly in when panic buying starts. And I think they are important to have on your shelves for yourself and all those little things that you use every day. If you take a sheet of paper and write down everything you use every day, you will see how many things that you need just to get through the day. You know, like the salt, the pepper, the butter, the oil, all those things. You want to make sure you've got all of those in order and in some form. It may not be something that you use all the time. I keep a large supply of powdered milk, but we don't use it all the time. It is something we keep, but I use it once in a while for cooking. I like to rotate stuff, make sure it doesn't go bad, but it's not something I use every day. My kids prefer fresh milk, so I buy fresh milk. You know, we all have those things that we prefer, and we're going to get them as long as we can, I hope. And that is it for today. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.